Hey guys, this is Apollo here, and it's time for a deck update. This time, Youthberk. So yeah, it's been a kind of bit of a while. I last touched on the deck. It's been like I think almost a good number of months since I last made the deck profile on Youthberk. So with the latest support from DZ-BT11, Youthberk has become much more consistent and a little more aggressive, and it did solve the problem of how Youthberk is lacking hand and the finishing blow compared to its original build. And the new double rare and the triple rare made the deck much more consistent, and I do like that. So I will not go through the cards I've gone through in the deck profile. If you want to watch, if you want to see what the skills of the cards I've gone through before, you can check out my deck profile of Youthberk in my channel. Go to the channel to take a look at it. And without further ado, let's just go to the deck update. So the right line obviously is not changed. I still play the Great Zero Youth, the new Grow and Youth, so that you can top 5 for a Great 2 OS to call it, or you put a Youthberk to hand. The Great 2 Youth, the new one, just you can invest 3 to put a Great 2 or greater card from your drop to hand, which in the case most of the time will be River Forms. And then your main card is being Skyfall Arms Rebuild. So allowing you to River Dress from hand or Combat Swan to River Dress from drop instead. And you notice in this build, you do tend to River Dress a little more easily on a drop compared to before. And it gets gate advantage when you bind stuff, bind the uniforms at the end of turn, so it does have some advantage in the way. So let's go on to the Grade 3. So the Grade 3 I believe is unchanged from what I remember from my last deck profile. Still 3 personas, obviously. We still have the 4 X's, obviously. Okay, now before I go on to the apologies. Before I go on to the more in detail. So there has been a period where I did try out the full blast build for rebuild, and that was the only way to like make it the more potent. And unfortunately, because back in the time, Exist wasn't really great, mainly because it didn't have much finishing blow rather than it was threatening, yeah, but the threatening doesn't really make the opponent really threatened to feel. Just put it honestly. But now with the new support, it does make it much more scary to face against. And you see like in the WGPs in Japan, like a lot of players who play Youthberk to top the tournament. So that's pretty good. So I still before Exist. I mean, obviously you do want to have the aggression in your deck. Backup river form, I do play 2 Tempest, just like before. Although I am considering putting one in the deck, and maybe if I really want to, I'll take out Tempest entirely. But to be fair, the reason why I put Tempest in the deck is just because he's just filter fodder, and the fact that he is just your backup river form in case that either because you couldn't get your Exist on time, or pretty much you use up all your Exist, and this can just help you draw power for the later game. My reguess for your choice, the Great 3 Fire Regalis, I mean, is what it is. Alright, so let's go on to the Grade 2. So the Grade 2s is, I think, what the major changes are done on the deck. So the new card is a triple rare. It is for Edifet. So Edifet skill, when this unit is placed on a regular circle, if your Vanguard is a Youth, you combat one. You look at top 7 cards, choose one of the cards and activate the following belief below. So if you choose a card is a Youthberk, you put it in your hand. If the card you've chosen, it is not the same name as Edifet, and the same grade or lower than your Vanguard, you call it regular circle. So essentially, it replaces Schneisel, it replaces Dutlick. It's a much more consistent searcher compared to the previous 2. And what I like about this card is that auto on regular circle once per turn, when you attack, so +1, and for every Youthberk on your bind zone and Vanguard circle, this unit gets 5 power. So if essentially it keeps scaling as you keep rebel dressing, and it does help because if you bind this and then you keep rebel dressing, it becomes a little bigger and bigger. It's actually pressures you more a little more, and I do like that. So the other Grade 2 I run, which is pretty good as well, it is 4 Best Rotate. So Best Stand skill, auto undrop when a Grade 3 Youth is placed in your right face. If you do not have a copy of him on the field, you still pass on call this from drop to regular circle. Second skill, continues on regular circle. If a Vanguard is a Grade 2 or greater Youthberk, this unit gets 5k power and 5k shield. If your bind zone has a Youthberk, this gets another 5k power. And it's also active on the opponent's turn too. So what I like about this card is that it does self-revive, and the fact that it basically is a 20k body and a 10k shield. So Youthberk did like a little bit of shield back then, and even then like, it's pretty hard for Youthberk to win because he does get rushed pretty easily, which is the unfortunate thing what happened back in the day. But now with these cards, the deck has become much more consistent, which I do like. I still play 3 Exalted Dragons, just because they're just discard fodder, mainly, and you realize in this deck, it is very soul blast heavy, so you do need to really get your soul in there. So that's for the grade 2. So the grade 1s, I play 4 Karina. Karina is still important because you do need to. It is somewhat like a cycler of the deck. Like, it helps you find your exist, to a certain extent, Tempest if you really want to, but most of the time, since your exist, put in soul, then whenever you soul blast for any of your cards, it becomes ready to roll just anytime in drop. So essentially, she pumps soul. She just helps you to set your rebel forms in drop so that you can roll dress onto your Vanguard circle in the case you don't have it in your hand. So there's that. I still play free Nucleate just because it is your counter to your deck, and the fact that, okay, I won't say it does counter a lot in this deck, but I feel that it does help somewhat. And I know people say that Nucleate isn't really a great card. I couldn't think of any other card that would really counter charge, to be really honest, and I think, you know, the fact that this uses a lot slow is pretty much this my playstyle, really. That's the way I can put it. Still bit 2 is filled just because you want to so it boosts Youthberk so it withstands, it becomes like a 15k booster. That's essentially what it does. I play 4 effect PGs, ideally one of being the Antaria, OT choice being the red OT. You can play the blue OT if you want to give pressure. I mean, it depends on playstyle, but I think if I were to be honest, I would play the blue OT, but I don't have enough boost OTs for now, so I'm going to use the red OT just for the time being. Triggers, I play 8 crits. I mean, if you want to play the effectors, go ahead, but honestly, it's not necessary in my honest opinion. I play the shield fronts because shield is pretty important in this deck, and I play 4 vanilla heals. So that's pretty much it for my deck update on Youthberk, specifically the rebuild. Pretty much the new grade 2s made the deck, and if you guys didn't notice, like, the deck has not changed in general other than just swapping out the Dudlick and the Doreen Gens just for the end effect and the Vesatines. So essentially, it made the deck a little much more what it lacked and what it needed desperately, and boy, it is much more smoother compared to what it was before. So with that being said, that's it for my deck update. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, do like, share, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.